Picture this. You give your baby a bath, smile and giggle with them as you put on their lotion, diaper, and jammies. You feed them, sing them a song, put them down in the crib after giving them one last kiss, and you're both smiling at each other as you say goodnight and leave the bedroom. Then your baby calmly falls asleep all by themselves. Sounds kind of dreamy, right? The secret to being able to put your baby down awake and have them confidently put themselves to sleep is starting to teach them how to go down drowsy but awake before they reach 4 months. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Allison Edgety, a pediatric sleep and wellness coach and a mom of two. I love to help parents find solutions. This is How Long Till Bedtime. If your baby currently nurses or bottle feeds to sleep, you've likely heard that the trick to improving your baby's nighttime sleep or lengthening their naps is going to be learning to put them down drowsy but awake. This is good advice, and I share this advice often. A lot of parents, however, tell me that they don't really understand how to teach their baby to be content after being put down awake so that they could actually fall asleep independently. Drowsy but awake has become one of these concepts that seems to be getting thrown around as if everyone knows what it means and how to do it. For those of you who've been wondering, well, I haven't heard about it. What the heck is drowsy but awake? How the heck are you supposed to teach it to your baby? And when are you supposed to teach your baby this magical skill? Well, today I'm going to break it all down for you. So, where do we start? What does drowsy but awake mean? Putting your baby down drowsy but awake means that you're putting your little one down in their crib or bassinet. I kind of use those interchangeably. I'm talking about flat, motionless sleep space. You're putting them down in their crib at a very relaxed state, but they are still awake and decently alert. You want them to definitely be aware that you're putting them down in the crib. So, why is it so important that your baby learn to go down drowsy but awake? The key here is the awake part. As your baby matures and you're aiming for that full night of sleep, I'm talking 11 to 12 hours of sleep and consistent naps that are an hour plus, it's going to be really important that your little one knows where they are when they fall asleep. If your little one is aware of where they are, that is in the crib, when they're falling asleep, everything's going to look, sound, and feel the same when they wake up in that crib. Whether that be in the middle of the night, because middle of the night wakings actually are natural, even for babies who we technically describe as sleeping through the night, or if they wake after one sleep cycle in 30 or 45 minutes. We want everything to feel the same. There will be no surprises. And then they won't be confused or feel kind of tricked or duped as if they woke up and like, whoa, how did I get here? Where am I? As your baby becomes more and more aware of their surroundings and develops sleep associations, those things they associate with falling asleep, waking up in a different place than they remember falling asleep in can be startling. And chances are they're going to cry out for someone to come back and recreate what they associate with falling asleep. So, in our baby's defense, this is all they know. And so, anytime they wake up, they're going to think, okay, well, I need someone to come back and fix this situation so I can get back to sleep. I like to compare always putting our babies in the crib asleep to you or I falling asleep in our bed and waking up out in the yard. You'd be pretty shocked, right? How did you get here? And there's no way that you're just going to roll over and go back to sleep when you suddenly wake up out in your yard. So, for babies who are always fed or rocked to sleep, you, the person doing that, is like the bed, and the crib is like the yard. If, on the other hand, your child falls asleep in the crib, when they wake up and everything's exactly the same as they remember it being when they were falling asleep, they are much more likely to just readjust a little bit and put themselves back to sleep rather than crying out for you to come back and make things the way they remember. This is why Drowsy But Awake is such a key piece to the puzzle when you are trying to teach your new baby to sleep for longer stretches during the night or to help them lengthen naps. So, when should you start working on putting your baby down drowsy but awake? First of all, I really don't want parents to stress about it in the first 6 weeks. Your baby is not building a sleep association during that window. No harm in practicing, but don't stress too much about it. But there's a little key window around 6 to 8 weeks. It's when your little one starts to smile, that they are becoming more aware of their surroundings when they're falling asleep. This is when you want to start to develop sleep associations that you want long term. So it's ideal to start practicing putting your baby down drowsy but awake. Notice my emphasis on the word practicing. Keep that word in mind as you get started. Don't expect your baby to suddenly know how to fall asleep on their own. It takes a lot of consistent practice. Start by just working on putting your little one down, drowsy but awake, for one nap each day. Once your little one starts to get the hang of falling asleep in their crib or bassinet for that one nap, you're going to add another nap. The goal would be to put your little one down awake and have them fall asleep in their crib at least 2 times a day as they approach 12 weeks. And then ideally by 4 months, you're able to put them down awake for all of their naps and at bedtime. So, the magic window for teaching a baby to fall asleep after being put down awake without ever having to leave them to cry is kind of in that 6 week to 4 month window when they're developing these sleep associations. So, what might an early attempt at drowsy but awake look like? Before the sleep period where you're going to work on this, you should do a short soothing routine that you've chosen. Fresh diaper, swaddle, song. Doesn't need to be overly complicated. Then you'll rock or bounce your baby in a dark room, the dark room that they will be sleeping in, until you feel your baby's body relax or start to cozy in. You'll want to be looking for eyelids that are getting heavy and slow blinking. Those are good signs that your baby is drowsy. That's when you want to put them down because that's when they're feeling the pull to sleep, but they're still awake. Once you put them down, you can put your hand on their chest while they're in the crib and gently kind of rock them. It's totally fine to assist them, pacifier, rocking, whatever it may be when you're getting started, because the initial goal is just for them to fall asleep in the crib rather than in your arms or during a feeding. So even if you need to help them, that's okay. If your baby gets upset, you can, of course, pick them up, calm them back down, and try it again. If your baby's new to this, I recommend trying 2 or 3 times for that nap. And then go ahead, if it's not going well, pull that plug and help your baby get to sleep in a way that they are accustomed to so that they don't get overtired. Because remember, this is about practice, not perfection. If your baby starts to cry the second they touch the mattress, I got a little trick here. I want you to try a shorter wake window. But then, even if it's not going well, just keep practicing each day. It's not going to be a light switch for most babies. Some babies it will be, but for most, it's going to be a slow, gradual process. And it's just about continuing to offer them the opportunity to go down in this more independent fashion and finding that sweet spot for how drowsy they need to be to go down easily. And what is that correct wake window before that nap? All right. I hope this helps you as you're thinking about starting to put your baby down, drowsy but awake. Remember that we're looking for that sweet spot of starting hopefully when they're 6 to 8 weeks old, once they start smiling. But please know if you are listening and you have already missed this window, it is never too late to start. I work with babies who are between 12 and 16 weeks all the time who have never been put down awake, and we're able to make a tremendous amount of progress in that window. So if you're listening and thinking, oh my gosh, my baby's been smiling for weeks, please don't distress. Just go ahead and take these tips and get started and give yourself and your baby lots of grace as you start this very important practice. Okay, I would love to hear if you get started and you're having success putting your baby down drowsy but awake. Shoot me a DM on Instagram at Sleep and Wellness Coach. And if you have a baby who's 12 weeks or younger and you'd love to teach them to go down awake, sleep through the night, and crush those naps without needing to formally sleep train, and you want some additional support from me, check out my Have Baby Need Sleep program. In that program, I walk you through how to teach your baby to confidently sleep independently week by week by week, all the way through 4 months. Plus, I offer weekly support that allows me to troubleshoot with you as you're teaching your baby these new skills all the way until your baby is 20 weeks. You can find more info at www.AllisonEdgedy.com/SWC-HBNS. And of course, we'll link to that in the show notes as well. I hope you'll come back next week to hear my conversation with a pediatric physical therapist. We're going to talk all about rolling and other important first-year milestones. Until then, bye for now. Thank you for listening to How Long Till Bedtime. To learn how we can work together to improve your child's sleep, please visit sleepandwellnesscoach.com.